Oui, bon après-midi à tous et bienvenue à cette audience publique pour le comité de dérogation pour la ville d'Ottawa. Welcome everyone to this public hearing of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Ottawa. We are panel one for the urban area. We're also a quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings and to consider under the Planning Act applications, which include minor variances and consents to sever land, among other types of applications that are less common. Our hearings are back to being in person. However, the committee can enable remote participation by video conferencing when requested to do so, or by request for registered speakers. So we are live streaming on YouTube, and both this video and the agenda are archived and can be accessed through the city's website for the committee. My name is Anne Tremblay, and with me today we have Member Keklikan, we have Member Blatherwick, and online we have Member Lecuyer. In terms of procedure, we have an agenda. We have very few items. We have 4 items on our agenda today. So we're going to go essentially in the order. We have no unopposed applications. We're just going to go 1 through to 4. The panel members have reviewed all of the materials beforehand. We do have a chance to meet even after we've had a chance, so we've got a prolonged period to look at the materials, and then we meet to clarify matters, and then we're here. So once we get to this hearing, what's really important for us is any oral submissions that there might be, whether you're here in person or you're in public, or sorry, online. With that, as part of the statutory public information requirements, each applicant is required to post a sign on the property and then to provide us with some either a written declaration to confirm the sign posting, or in the event that that's not available, and I think in this case we have them all. Just a minute. Yeah, so we have them all. I guess we used to do this more when we were still in the COVID periods. But we do seem to have them now, but just as a note, when we don't have them, we either do an oral swearing or affirmation, or we can't hear the application at all. All right, so in terms of the way we proceed, in this case today, we will likely request questions or have the panel ask questions of the panel members, unless a panel member specifically wants a presentation on an item. And then once we get clarity from the agent and possibly from planning staff, then we move on to hearing from the public. And I do have a speakers list. If your name isn't on the list, no worries. You just need to signal to me that you'd like to address the committee, and then we'll bring you in. We will need, though, if you're not on the speakers list, your name and your municipal address right at the start of your comments. So at the end of the hearing on an application, the panel can make an oral decision, or we can reserve. So our oral decisions, of course, can be either denial of the application or granting of the application. A reserved decision means that we've heard additional oral submission sufficient to necessitate more deliberation amongst the panel members. So what we typically do is reconvene a hearing of the panel after the whole of the hearing, and then we complete our discussion and make a decision then. All of that happens before anybody goes home. So at the end of a hearing on an application, in all cases, and within 10 days, the Committee of Adjustment sends an official written decision and reasons for it to all the parties, participants, and anyone who's requested a copy of the decision. So in terms of some business items, are there any declarations of conflict of interest by any of the panel members for either this agenda or an agenda for panels 2 or 3? All right, for the record, I'm seeing no member with conflicts of interest to declare. We also don't have any minutes today to adopt. And we don't have any adjournments. So that takes us right to our agenda. So with that, we're going to go to application number 1, which is for 388 Richmond Road. And I'm looking for the agent. Do we have the agent on the line?
The agent is online, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I'm not seeing the agent.
The agent is Rachida Fegul, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Do you hear me? Hello.
I'm not seeing that person on my screen.
It appears that her mic is on, just we cannot see her her video. So if she could please turn those on, please.
Ms. Fagul, can you hear us?
Is it okay? Now is it okay? I put my camera on.
Okay, we're going to step this one down and try to get connection with the agent. So with that, then we're going to move on to item number 2 for 45 Bauer. And again, I'm looking for the agent, which I understand is remote. No, not remote. Thank you. Good afternoon. And just your name to confirm.
Sorry. Yes. Hi, my name's Layla Emrys. I'm the authorized agent for the applicant.
All right, so just before we get going, I understand there's a housekeeping amendment in relation to the file number. So just tell me you can confirm that the file number is in fact D08-02-24/A-00202.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure.
Madam Chair, that was an error on committee staff's part, and that is the correct file number that should be on this notice and decision.
All right, okay, so all right, so I'm getting the confirmation through staff that that's the right number. Okay, thank you. All right, with that then, members of the panel, anyone with any questions for our agent? Member Blatherick, please.
Ms. Emrys, you're aware of the comments in the Old Ottawa Community Association?
Yes, thank you. We are aware. Those came in yesterday afternoon. We did submit a letter in response also yesterday afternoon. I believe you should have received it. We included with that also some responses that the applicant received from the neighbors within their general neighborhood. So Bauer Street and the street behind, which were all quite positive, just sort of to illustrate that they did do some community outreach, and we don't feel that the concerns expressed by the Old Ottawa East Community Association are necessarily shared by the actual neighbors of the property.
And to their specific reference that there are variances missing?
Oh, yes. So they mentioned the side yard setback for the garage, which is an existing structure. So we're not modifying this. This, I believe, predates the current zoning setbacks. So this is not being modified or touched in any way. It's not part of the work being proposed. And as such, planning did not indicate that a variance would be required. The other one they mentioned was the setback for the front porch and the second-story addition on the front porch, which are also existing. So again, planning did not indicate that setbacks, variances would be required for these setbacks. Again, we are not touching these. These are pre-existing conditions. The other thing that was mentioned was the TIR, which again, we did approach forestry about this, and they confirmed that it was not required because no trees are actually being affected by the work proposed.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No, that's a very good point, Member Blatherwick, that in fact, applicants aren't required to regularize nonconformities if it's not directly related to the work that's proposed. So, okay. Any other questions from their panel members? Okay. Well, with that, then I don't have anyone on my speakers list for this item. Is there anyone in the audience or online who would like to speak to this proposal for an increased building height to allow for more living space in an existing house at 45 Bauer? Your chances now? Anyone? No, not seeing anyone. Okay, so with that, then we can go to a vote. So members of the panel, all those in favor? All right, so for the record, the application is unanimously granted. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go back to number one if we had more luck.
Madam Chair, it appears the agent has her hand up, so we could try again with item number 1.
All right, let's go back to number
Hello.
1 then.
Hello, do you
and
hear me? Hello, do you
So,
hear me?
um,
Do you hear me? Hi.
I'm, all right, I'm not hearing the agent at
Oh,
all
no?
at my end. And
I'm
yet I
hearing
keep
on
getting
my
a
end.
flash on my screen saying that
Are
the
you
agent is
hearing me,
speaking.
Mrs. Sharon?
It appears that the problem is not on our end, but the agent's. So perhaps the agent could modify their microphone or video settings.
I can hear on my end.
Okay, so.
I can't see, but I can hear. The agent.
Why do I
Looking
have
for
to
Ms.
make the video run?
Cahoon to correct it on her end. All right, we're going to step it down again. We're going to go to number 3. So, okay, so this is 191 Granville. Looking for Mr. Ibrahimpour. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. My name is Majid Ibrahimpour, and I'm representing the owner of 191 Granville.
All right, thank you. We don't need a presentation, so I'm going to open it up to questions from the committee. Anyone at this point? Member Blatherwick.
Sir, I note that you've, in your submission, have listed the criteria under section 5124 of the Act, which is fine, except you're not explaining to us how those particular criteria in 5124 apply to this application. There's also 2 other requirements for us when we're dealing with consents, and that's whether or not this application is consistent with the provincial policy statement 2020, and whether or not a plan of subdivision is not needed for the proper and orderly development of the municipality. So it's fine to list the criteria under 5124, but you need to explain why we should approve this consent.
Oh, there is in that street, in that area, there is so many of semi-detached building with the size and dimension, and in the area we have just in a parameter of maybe about 50 meters or 100 meters. We do have more project the same size, the same issues, and it's been granted in the past, and I don't think we should have any issue with this one, but I'm not that, I don't know, I shouldn't say I'm not concerned, but I don't think that is that much relevant at that point.
Well, it's relevant to us.
For sure.
And quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, you should have explained why we should be approving this consent. I know you're under construction right now, and there's not an issue with servicing of the site because you've already worked that through the city. But I would suggest in future that you give us a rationale for any future applications you're coming
Yes.
before us with for consent.
Sure. For
It leaves us guessing,
yes,
and we shouldn't be guessing.
No, you don't need that. In that street in Granville, we do have 99 Granville, 9997 that we did sever it a couple of years ago in the same size, the same lot, actually smaller than that in the corner lot. And at the bottom line of the close to Montreal Road, we have one that we built 3 townhouses in the lot way smaller than this size. And it was all approved and it was not even required any minor variances. And in that specific area, it's our view and everyone it built and the city helped actually to build those such project. And at the same time in a Duford Street, which is only 1 minute walking distance, we built exactly the same in a smaller lot.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Abraham, this isn't your first time before this committee. We've seen you a number of times, so you're not unpracticed before the committee. I think the point that Member Blatherwick is making is you need to provide us with the reasons behind the need for the severances. And, you know, it's nice that you're able to, you know, rhyme off to us some properties, but we need that evidence. Like you have no planning evidence before us, which is the evidence that we need. So we need the rationale and we need the evidence, and we don't have either in front of us right now in order to make this decision.
I understand, and I believe it was my fault in that point because I thought it's so obvious. Maybe it's obvious for me because we got in that area. We got in Montfort, 281 Montfort and 285 Montfort and that one. And we got several of them in the area, very close by in walking distance. And I thought that you are going to agree on it. So I didn't really bother to bring, that was just my fault.
Well, just so you have some
Yes.
context, the committee doesn't make decisions on the basis of precedents. Each application is unique and it is considered under its own merits with very specifically within its context. So, so the next time you do come before us,
Sure.
make like we know nothing about anything that's going on in that area.
Absolutely.
And provide us with why you need it, and then give us the planning evidence for why it's actually in keeping and in compliance with the zoning bylaws and the official plan policies. There are 4 tests, right? There's 4 tests in the Planning Act. So we just ask that you come better prepared the next time.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Have you had a chance to look at the conditions?
Yes, I did.
And you
I
have,
did, and I brought the number, I agree with all of them. On number 4, I just sent the email to Margaret about the noise condition. And I said, if it's possible, we are going to agree to put it on the deed that it will be comply with all the city requirement that usually we do. And because it's going to be costly for the noise study as well. And at the end, because it's not far from Montreal Road, we agree on all the conditions that they are going to put in on the first place. And we are going to agree with the total things. So there's no objection on none of them, actually.
so how far are you from Montreal Road?
It's about, I don't exactly measure it, but it's about 300 almost.
Okay, so,
It's on the border of, but we agreed to put it on all the conditions.
so the point of a noise study is to identify noise mitigation measures in the construction. Now, you've already got 2 units already under construction. Did you have to do anything
No.
with building code services? Nothing in that regard?
No.
For those units at all? So you still have 1 future building lot?
Yes, we have another lot that is going to be built
Okay.
perhaps next year.
So typically the committee is not in favor of granting or waiving noise studies because that's how the mitigation measures are identified.
Yes. No, I agree on that.
Okay, so looking for comments from panel members, my sense is we leave the condition in. All right, so I'm hearing from the panel members that they would like to retain that condition as written.
I agree.
Okay, well, with that, then I guess we're ready to make a decision. All those in favor? All right. For the record, your application is unanimously granted. But like I said, if you wouldn't mind being better prepared, look at the 4 tests, bring your planning evidence. Did you submit a PowerPoint presentation? Okay, you need to do that too. If we'd wanted a presentation from you, would be looking at, the site plan for the property. We'd want to see functionality. We would want to see a lot of things that suggest that, yes, this is a good idea in that area.
Sure. I do have a couple of files coming soon, so I'll just make them all ready.
Remember the 4 tests.
Yes.
Remember what you're trying to prove. All right. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
now.
you, members.
Okay, I'm going to go to 4 at this point. And that's for
Actually,
Powell.
Madam Chair, could we go back to panel 1? Apparently the issue is in chamber with the sound.
Oh, it's ours. It's our
So
issue.
we just want to see if we fixed it now.
Okay, so back to 1 is what I'm hearing. Okay. All right, do we have our agent available?
I don't see her online anymore.
Madam Chair, she's just being promoted to panelist now, so she has to accept that invitation, and then we'll try to get the IT issues fixed. Madam Chair, through you, if I could ask the agent to please continue talking as we
Hello,
try
do
to
you
fix
hear
this.
me?
So
You hear me?
we'll be able to know if the problem is fixed, and also try to turn your camera on as well. Thank you.
I can hear the agent.
Oh, finally. Oh my God. Thank you. Do you hear me? Hello,
I
everybody.
can hear
Oh,
you. I
thank
don't
you.
know
So we
if
can hear the agent. Member Licky, can we hear you?
Oh, thank you.
you should
I'm
be able to hear
fine.
me. Oh,
We've lost Member Licky.
Are we okay? Do you hear me?
testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'm listening very well. It's good.
We can hear each other.
Okay, good.
Licky, let's try again.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing.
We can hear it at the back of the room. So like actually the front of the room, right behind us. And how about you then, Agent Fekul? Can
I
we hear
can
from
hear.
the agent, please?
Hello. Hi. Do you hear me? Hello. 1, 2, 3. Sharon, do you hear me? So Mrs. Tremblay doesn't hear me?
Correct.
Are we hearing everyone?
I can hear
Oh,
everyone.
okay. Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Okay,
Okay.
faint, but we can hear it. Oh, is it going to be picked up on the recording though?
Apparently, Madam Chair, on YouTube, they can hear what we can't hear.
That's very interesting. Okay. All right, so with that, I'm just going to open up the application to questions from the members. I think there are a number. Yes, go ahead, Member Dickey.
Yeah, so my question was, so in regards to parking, what percentage of the business do you foresee having McDelivery orders? So agents that would be coming to pick up food, so would need parking in order to conduct those deliveries.
This question is for me.
Yes, it is for you.
Okay, thank you. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, my question is, given that you're asking for parking to be waived,
Yes.
and my understanding is that McDonald's has been using a lot of McDelivery as a component of their business model. And so in assessing this site as a business venture, my question is, what percentage of the business do you expect to be McDelivery orders, and therefore could give us a sense of the amount of demand for parking for that component of the business?
Okay. For this question, it's about the operation. I am the architect and I am in charge of the zoning bylaw. But from my experience, it is 15% for the
Sorry,
Mac delivery.
15 or 50?
15. 15, 1-5, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Member Butt.
I'm very familiar with this street. I travel on a regular basis. And parking is very tight in Westboro at the best of times. You're asking to have an 18 parking space relief from the zoning bylaw. And I'm just wondering how you're going to accommodate your customers. And Ms. Lecquier also touched on it, how you're going to accommodate all the people who come in to pick up food when there's, quite frankly, during the good percentage of the day, very little parking on that street, and which is why so many of the side streets are chock full of people's vehicles who are shopping on the street. I would have assumed that the planning department would have asked for a parking demand study to have been undertaken to justify this use coming onto Richmond Road. So my question to you is, in your discussions with the planning department, did they suggest that parking demand studies should be done to justify a McDonald's without parking?
To respond to this comment, I have to say that the property is situated along Richmond Road, and there is an existing sidewalk. There is 6 bus stop located within 800 meters from the site. There is on the south Byron Avenue with the bike lines, and there is also this Kitschy CBO train station located at 3 to 5 meters from the site. So this area is encouraged to prioritize walking, cycling, and transit. So we have consulted with neighbor, and we have received their support regarding this minor variance parking space. And I have to add something else. If the restaurant, because there is an exemption for small restaurant use, there is an exemption in the zoning bylaw, and this exemption says that if the footprint of the building is 350 square meter, there is no need to provide parking. For this property, we have the ground floor and a sort of mezzanine. but the restaurant is mostly located on the ground floor, and it is less than 305 meters. Because we have this small mezzanine, we cannot have this exemption. So from my understanding, in this area for small businesses like restaurant, it is, and we understand that it is logic, it is rational that there is no need to provide, because we are in an urban area which with a lot of possibility to come by bus, walking, cycling, and we are encouraging this. So this is my answer to the to this
So
to this point.
just to be clear, the planning department never asked you to undertake a parking demand study.
No, we don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Member
you.
Lecuyer?
Yes, with regard to the 2 parking spots that
Yeah.
are under negotiation,
Yeah.
are those will those be reserved for the McDelivery orders, the temporary parking needs that, as you said, 15% of the business that will require?
Yeah. First of all, McDonald's has signed this agreement with the MEC, and MEC is located almost at 50 meters from the property. And these 2 parking that are bought from, that are the agreement from McDonald's, which is completed, which is c'est réglé. It's for the McDelivery. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not
It's
for
what?
employees.
Sorry, I didn't catch
So
that. It's
this is the initiative of McDonald's to do this, and I hope the committee will.
Sorry, I did not catch what those parking spaces are going to be reserved for.
For the driver of the McDelivery, for the driver who took the command, who take the command.
So it's not for
McDelivery.
employees. It's
Comment?
not for, c'est pas pour les employés.
No. Employee is, we encouraging employee to come
Oh,
by
sorry,
bus.
we've lost the agent again.
Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I could relay her answer is that she confirmed that it is for McDelivery
Yeah.
and not for employees, the parking, the 2 negotiated parking spots with, and that agreement has been signed with MEC.
So Ms. Farrow, you were speaking even beyond that. Would you like to repeat your comments? So thank you for that overview, Member Lecuyer, but I could see that she was still speaking and we weren't hearing anything. So did you want to recap?
The question is for me, Mrs. Tremblay?
Yes, it is for you.
You want me to recap what I've said?
It's just that when we lost you, you were speaking.
Okay. I said that the 2 parking that McDonald's has the agreement for these 2 parking lot on the MEC paid parking are for delivery, McDelivery. Plus, for the employee, we are encouraging to use the bicycle to come to the restaurant.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the panel? All right. I believe I do have a speaker on this application, resident Mr. Hanel. Come on forward. And we already have your municipal address, so go ahead, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I can see the danger of trying to phone it in. So I'm glad to be here in person. I'm interested in this subject because I have lived in the community for 50 years and seen Richmond Road die and be resurrected as a vibrant urban high street. So I'm enthusiastic about its evolution and continued development. I'm not here to stop anything that is generically new by any chance. But I am here because I'm concerned about the nature of what is proposed in terms of the impact on this urban high street. Looking at the plan as it has been submitted, it seems very clear to me that this proposal is not for a restaurant, but for a fast food takeout outlet, which is by definition a high volume and high turnover business in order to be viable. I say that it appears to be primarily a takeout, as the proposal includes no mention of space for consumption on the premises itself. It indicates that only 82 square meters of space will be accessible to the public out of a total floor area of 366 square meters, if I'm correct. A square of that size would be roughly 9 meters aside. It would need to accommodate an all-season entrance alcove, counters for plastic surgery, cutlery, and so on, electronic ordering boards, a pickup area. In effect, this means there is no space left for in-store dining. The proposal also seeks to make a virtue out of providing no proprietary parking, including for the disabled, the argument being that it will encourage pedestrian and bicycle traffic. This is a curiously self-serving and circular argument and logic, in my view. It's also unrealistic in real-life Ottawa. Winter and stormy weather will be a powerful disincentive to walking and biking to a McDonald's for much of the year, as will the already intense traffic on Richmond Road now. I use my bike a lot, an e-bike, and I always avoid this strip as being far too dangerous for a bicyclist. There is no dedicated bicycle lane or otherwise. I should also note that the bicycle parking on offer in this proposal is a bit of a fantasy. It's 3 meters wide, enclosed on 3 sides. You try putting a bike in and taking a bike out with a rack inside. I challenge you to do more than a child's bicycle to do that. So in effect, no bicycle parking is being provided in any realistic terms. These facts are relevant to your committee's remit, I believe, on 2 counts, garbage and parking. On garbage, in the absence of parking or an eating area, most, if not all, the consumption will have to take place in the street adjacent to the premises, i.e. in its 2 meter wide right-of-way, by the way, which is in the seniors travel parking lot, which also makes it a curious mix of no parking and parking in the same space. On the sidewalk in front, where there is no dedicated garbage disposal unit or bench, or across the street, more particularly in Winston Square, which is already overtaxed with garbage when there is any kind of a facility nearby. It would be a shame to turn what is now a little jewel of urban public space, rare as they are, to become McDonald's outdoor eating area without attendant garbage attention being paid to the consequences. As I noted, the proposal is disingenuous, I think, in its assumption that the outlet will rely on foot traffic. It will have to attract car traffic to be viable. This on a stretch of road where parking has become such a scarce good that meters are now being installed to ration it. It's important to note, I think, in the committee's consideration that these externalities, the management of garbage and the provision of parking, are normal costs of business for fast food outlets, such as the McDonald's, which now sits 2,000 meters away on Carling. So it's already available to those who have a craving for a Big Mac. Both these costs would, under the proposal, be dumped on the city and the taxpayer by McDonald's Corporation, not, by the way, by a local business person, as far as I can see. The proposal does not volunteer any meaningful mitigating measures to address either of these concerns. To sum up, this is an application by McDonald's Corporation to, if I may be so indelicate as to say this, dump 2 major externalities associated with its normal business onto the city of Ottawa. It will add little to the amenities or the diversity in the shopping area, as an outlet like this will feed off existing consumer traffic rather than bringing additional business to the neighborhood, but impose serious negatives. The corporation offers nothing in lieu of the transfer of costs for getting relief from the requirement for 8 parking spaces. In asking for this variance, McDonald's is in effect seeking not relief, but a subsidy. Their proposal should be rejected, or at the very least should be granted only on the understanding that McDonald's provides some offsets in lieu of the parking that is now required for 18 spaces, and which would, under normal circumstances, be required for such an outlet. It should, for instance, guarantee a meaningful continuing contribution to garbage management of garbage it generates, the provision of a public area seating for consumption within its premises, actual rather than fantasy car parking for the disabled. As far as I can tell, on the application, the location of the 2 spots was not MEC, the parking lot, but the one beside Maman Clafouti, which is a closed lease only by permit parking. So perhaps that has changed. Real rather than fantasy space for bikes. As I mentioned, these are not workable as they are now. I believe that only such offsets might make this proposal acceptable, at least a little better balanced in terms of costs and benefit to the neighborhood and the community. These are not unreasonable demands. This building has a flat roof. Every other restaurant and food outlet in the area with access to a flat roof uses it for local dining. So in this case, I would think it would be a reasonable proposition for McDonald's to be required to do the same. In sum, I believe that this requires further consideration. It is not quite as simple a proposal as the proponents would have you believe. If you'd like me to comment more specifically on the 4 criteria that they set to justify the variance, I'd be happy to do that, but I think you've heard more than enough from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hanel, because in actual fact, we've raised a number of concerns that I also had that I think I'd like to explore with planning staff at this time. So Ms. Linker, are you there? Okay, hi. So Ms. Linker, so the whole issue about a loading area for supplies and materials, I mean, in terms of the functionality of the site, I'm not sure why there's no revised site plan required as part of this application. Certainly nothing in the materials that we've seen would suggest that a site plan to demonstrate functionality with this change in use I haven't seen it anyway. So looking to you for some of that guidance. So first off, if we can address the whole site plan issue and then the functionality.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry, are you questioning if site plan control is required as part of this process? No, site plan control is not required for this conversion to a restaurant use. Regarding the loading spaces, I did speak with staff regarding introduction of a new loading space or if that would be necessary. And it appears that there's a loading space directly across the street, as well as another one at 180 meters west of the site. And they also noted that Mary Brown's Chicken does utilize the loading zone that is across the street from the subject site as well, if that's helpful information regarding loading.
No, sorry. So Mr. Hanel, is it because you're having difficulty hearing? All right. So Ms. Linker may need you to have to repeat what you've suggested. So yeah, we're going to use the mic. Hopefully that'll work. So would you mind just recapping what you've just said, please?
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. Site plan control is not required for this conversion to a restaurant use. There is a loading space that's located directly across the street from the subject site, as well as another loading space located within 180 meters of the subject site. Staff have noted that the Mary Brown's Chicken has been utilizing the loading space across the street and could provide additional insight on the loading processes in that area. It's my understanding from the zoning bylaw that a loading space cannot be used for more than 15 minutes, so it'll be a high turnover rate. All
right, and can those loading spaces be used by Uber Eats or any of the other sort of food pickup and home delivery companies?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my understanding that they can be used for Uber Eats purposes.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so what other questions do we have on that? So with regard to waste management, Ms. Linker, and so I'm trying to think about, so we've got bicycle parking in the back, but not many comments about the functionality for this type of use, because going from a bank to really what is a fast food takeout kind of restaurant does change the nature of, what needs to exist on site in order for it to be, in order for it to work properly. So can you give us some comments on that in terms of waste management and other issues?
Madam Chair, I'll just confirm that a restaurant is a permitted use on the subject site, and waste management will be looked into at further detail at building code or at building permits, and building code services will ensure that there is proper space to manage the waste for this business.
All right, thank you. Any other questions then from the panel members on this?
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Member Bladwick.
To the agent, I'm just curious, how many tables are going to be in this restaurant? How many people will it actually seat?
We have 28. We have 28 seats in the lobby, in the dining area. We propose 28 seats.
28 persons as sit-down customers. Okay.
Yeah. Table with chair and sitting people. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, that's all.
I want to
No,
add.
I'm sorry, Ms. Fenno,
No?
what I'd like to do
I'm
is
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
hear from the public, get all the issues out. We, if there's clarification on a particular matter, then that's okay, but then you will get a chance. Once everybody's had a time, an opportunity to speak, to come back and rebut, okay? So with that, the only name that I did have was Mr. Hainels. So is there anyone else in the audience or online who would like to speak to this application? All right, I'm going to consider the public portion closed. And with that then, Ms. Fayol, you have the opportunity now to rebut on some of the issues.
I can speak now?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just want to give an information. We provided the garbage room inside the restaurant for the garbage issue, and I would like to add something very important. It's about this minor variance. Granting this minor variance will allow to give a second life to this building while being conscious of the benefit of reusing of its existing envelope for environmental reasons, as well as maintaining its scale, character, and contribution. We want to use it as is. So, as Mrs. Linker said, the use of restaurant is permitted in this area. So we want to reuse the building and to give this building a second chance. And we have in our document presentation the renovation on the building. I think
so. Let me ask you a last question then. Do you have, Ms. Fayol, any comparisons where there is a McDonald's that is operating in a similar urban situation with zero parking? Can you give us tangible examples that are working in other urban centers?
Oh, yes, we did have other location. I think about one in Kingston, and we can send you the information regarding the address, the area. It's on Princess Road in Kingston. It's a similar area, similar clientele, and yeah,
Any
we
other,
had this.
have you got more than just Kingston to point?
Okay, let me think. We can send you other addresses. We have in downtown Montreal. We have on.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Ms. Linker because she has her hand up, and then I'm
We
going
have
to pose a
We have
question. to members.
3 or 4 locations similar to this one. Yes, I can give you the address. Yeah.
Ms. Linker, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In my research that I was doing, I understood that the location in Elgin Street, as well as the location on, or the previous location on Rideau Street, did not provide any parking for their restaurant.
Yes.
All right, those are good examples.
Mm.
I'm going to ask a question to the panel members because I think, where we were at the beginning of this was certainly didn't have the evidence we needed to think that this was actually going to be workable. To the members, would you prefer to see an adjournment to allow for the submission of those comparables so that we can have further evidence to include in our deliberations? What's everyone think?
I'm satisfied with what I've heard today, Madam Chair.
All right, members Blatherwick and Kekligan?
I'm
All right.
fine. with what I've heard
Okay,
today.
so member Kekligan, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm pretty satisfied with today's discussion.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'm going to ask whether members want to reserve. All right, so Agent Fahul, that means that we are going to consider further the information that has been submitted and that we've received today orally as part of our decision. So you will get the written decision within the 10-day requirement.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Tremblay, Chair. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thank you. Thank
All
you. We
right.
appreciate your consideration of our application. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And have a nice rest of your afternoon.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
that, then how about we go to number 4, which is for 167 Powell. Thank you very much, Mr. Hale. Good afternoon. I don't believe your microphone is on.
Is that on?
Yes, it is. So can you just give me your name to confirm?
Yeah, Patrick Schlanta.
All right, thank you, Mr. Slanta. No presentation required from you. I may need you to turn off your microphone when
Oh,
you're not
sorry.
speaking, so we don't get feedback. Thank you. I'm just going to open this right up to members of the panel for questions. All right, so I just want to confirm then, the last time you were here, Mr. Slanta, we had asked you to provide some evidence with regards to the feasibility of the slope reduction that you are asking this committee to grant. Can you just give me a little bit of history about what you did since you were here last and what the results was?
Yeah, we went through, I went through 2 rounds with the engineer and feedback from the city engineer about adjusting those slopes and integrating transition zones. And then at their request, was given a video of, where did I write that down? said this a little bit nicer in my presentation than I'm saying it now. That matched those slopes and the interaction without transition zones, and took a video of navigating those in a low clearance vehicle. And that was at the request of the city engineer.
All right, and they have signed off on it? You can confirm that? All right. And so panel members, I think you had no further questions. So if that's the case, then I don't believe there's anybody on my list to speak. So is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this application, either for or against? There's really no one left here. So if there's nobody, then I'm going to go to the panel members for a vote. If you're ready, all those in favor? Okay, so Mr. Slanta, the decision is unanimous and the application is granted.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
That takes us to the end of our hearing. So if there's no other business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.